Hey there, so you've brought a new cat home, which is just fantastic. But you probably realized that with all the joy comes a few challenges, and one of the biggest? Medication time. Well, in this explainer, we are going to break down a super simple, totally stress-free way to get this done. It's going to be a game changer for both you and your new best friend.
Does just the thought of giving your cat medicine make your stomach clench? Yeah, you're not alone. You're probably picturing a full-on wrestling match, medication everywhere. It's a totally normal fear, especially when you're just trying to build that new, trusting relationship.
Look, the good news is almost every cat owner has been there. But what if I told you there's a technique that vets and longtime rescuers swear by? A way to skip all that drama? Well, there is, and trust me, it's way, way simpler than you'd think. So, what's this secret weapon? It's not some fancy, expensive gadget or a weird trick. Nope. It's this humble little tool right here, a syringe. We're talking about a needleless syringe, of course. This little thing is about to become your absolute best friend when it comes to med time.
Seriously, forget trying to wrap a pill in cheese or fumbling around with those sticky, inaccurate droppers. The easiest, most precise, and least stressful way to give a cat pretty much any kind of medication is with a syringe. End of story. All right, let's dive in, starting with the most common form you'll probably run into, liquid meds. This could be anything, from antibiotics to a daily supplement. Usually, liquid medicine comes in one of two kinds of bottles. You've got your basic plastic squeeze bottle, and then you have the kind with this really handy plastic insert, which is called an adapter. Let's break down how to deal with each one. Okay, for that basic squeeze bottle, it's pretty straightforward. All you're going to do is snip the very end of the tip off. You want to make the hole just big enough for your syringe tip to fit in there nice and snug. Then, you just pop the syringe in, flip the whole thing upside down, and slowly pull back the plunger. The liquid will come right up into the syringe, no bubbles, no mess. Now, a lot of medications these days come with something that makes this even easier, a bottle adapter. It's this brilliant little plastic plug that you just pressed into the top of the bottle. See that little hole in the middle? It's perfectly sized for a syringe tip. It creates a clean, totally spill-proof seal. It's awesome. And here's a great little tip for you. You can actually buy these adapters yourself. The standard 24mm size fits a ton of common medicine bottles, even stuff like children's Tylenol. Just keep in mind, they're not one size fits all, so they won't work for bottles with really big or really tiny openings. Using a bottle with an adapter is just about as easy as it gets. You just make sure that plastic stopper is pushed in there firmly, stick your syringe tip in, flip the bottle, and pull back the plunger to get your dose. It is so quick, so clean, just incredibly simple. Okay, on to the next challenge. Those thick gels and pastes. We're talking about things like high-calorie supplements, think Nutri-Cal, or maybe some hairball remedies like Laxatone. You already know the problem here, right? Trying to squeeze a sticky, thick glob of gel straight from the tube into a wiggling cat's mouth is, well, it's a recipe for disaster. Most of it just ends up on their fur, or on you, or on the floor, anywhere but where it's supposed to be. So the solution is all about getting that gel into a syringe first, and here's the technique. Take an empty syringe and stand it on the counter, with the plunger side down. Now fit the opening of the tube of gel right over the syringe tip. Okay, here comes the magic part. You're going to slowly pull the plunger up with one hand while you squeeze the tube with your other hand. That combined motion just perfectly loads that thick gel right into the syringe. I'm not going to lie, this takes a little bit of coordination the first time you do it, but once you get that rhythm down, that pull and squeeze motion, it'll become second nature. And believe me, it is so much easier than the alternative. And you know what's cool? This technique is super versatile. It even works for those pre-filled dial-a-dose things, for dewormers or other pastes. Instead of wrestling with that clunky applicator, you can just transfer the dose into a nice, manageable syringe. So we've gone through the how. Now let's just take a quick second to talk about the why. Why go to this extra step? Why is using a syringe for everything so much better? The benefits are, well, they're huge. The advantages are just so clear. First, you get total control. You decide the dose, you decide the speed. Second, pinpoint accuracy. This is so important, especially for the teeny tiny doses cats often need. Third, there's way less waste, because a cat can't really spit out a small, controlled stream of liquid. And lastly, sometimes you can even combine meds into one syringe. But, and this is a big but, always ask your vet first to make sure that's safe to do. Okay, we're on the home stretch. The last step here is all about being prepared. Let's talk about putting together a simple little medicine kit so you have these tools ready to go before you actually need them. And no, you don't need a prescription for this stuff.
You can literally walk into almost any pharmacy, go to the counter, and ask the pharmacist for luer slip syringes without needles. Or, just order them online. Having a few of these stashed in a cabinet means you will never be caught off guard.
And here's a quick cheat sheet for the sizes you should probably have on hand. A 1 milliliter syringe? That's perfect for those really tiny, precise doses, like for an antibiotic. The 3 milliliter is a great all-arounder, perfect for slightly larger amounts of stuff. And then, while you hopefully won't need them often, it's not a bad idea to have a couple of larger 6 or 10 milliliter syringes, just in case your vet ever prescribes something like subcutaneous fluids.
So, here's the big takeaway. Giving your cat medication does not have to be a battle. It really doesn't. By just getting comfortable with a simple syringe, you can turn what used to be a stressful ordeal into a quick, calm, and controlled process. This empowers you to give your cat the absolute best care, and it builds that crucial bond of trust instead of creating stress. You can totally do this. You've got this.